Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining our final Meet the Firm series event, where we will be highlighting some of our wonderful wealth management firms. My name is Brooke. I'm the programs coordinator at Gain. We have a wonderful lineup of firms on the call. We have Canaccord Wealth, James Hambro, and Tanager Wealth Management, who will be giving you an insight into who they are and the type of internships they will be offering next summer. Before we begin, I did have just a few housekeeping bits to run through with you. So just to let you know, this session will be recorded and it will be available to view on YouTube in a few days. Applications to the Gain Empower Investment Internship Program are now open. So if you are interested in doing an internship next summer, which if you're on this call, I assume you would be, we would love to have you apply. Applications close on the 26th of October. Please make sure to take time on your application and submit one that you're proud of. As part of our application form, you'll complete a short video question where you'll explain your motivations for applying to the program. Just to be aware, the system that we use makes you only submit a 30 megabytes or less video, so make sure to keep that in mind when you are uploading your video. If you're not able to upload it due to its size, you can submit a Word document with the link to your video included. And then last, this is your opportunity to ask these firms any questions that you have, but this isn't a time to talk about the GAIN program itself. So please keep your questions focused on the firms. If you do have a question about the program, please email us at programs@gainuk.org. We will save the Q&A until the end when all of our firms have had a chance to talk about themselves and the internships that they are offering, but feel free to type any questions in the chat that you have throughout the call, and we'll get to them at the end. With that, I will jump in and introduce our first firm, Canaccord Wealth. Katie, thank you so much for being here. Could you please introduce yourself, your role, and a little bit about Canaccord?
Sure. I've got some slides to share, so I'm just gonna see if my tech is working. One sec. So while I do that, so I'm Katie. So I am a HR business partner. So I've been with Canaccord for almost a year, but I've got around 10 years experience in HR now. Can you see my slides? Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
Um, so yeah, I've got around 10 years experience in HR, 8 of those being in wealth management. Um, and I'm a HR generalist by background. However, I've got a background in early careers, and I'm personally really passionate about helping people at the beginning of their career journeys. So that's me. So the first couple of slides, I'm just going to go over Canaccord Wealth as a company, and then I'll get into the internship program as well. So Canaccord is one of the UK's leading independent wealth managers. So we have three main entities. So our wealth planning entity, asset management, and our biggest entity is our wealth management entity. As at 30 June 2025, we have 38.3 billion assets under management. And on the right of this slide, you can see how we've grown a timeline of our growth. So you can see that we've grown a lot through acquisitions, especially over the past 10 years. Our largest acquisition was in 2022, which was Punter Southall Wealth. And we saw an increase of around 150 employees. So that's probably the largest acquisition we'll ever do and we've ever done. But yeah, we had a lot of people come over at that point. So that was great. So our business overview. So apologies, I'm going to read through this slide. It's a lot of information, but I think it's important to cover. So through its principal subsidiaries, Canaccord Genuity Group is a leading independent full-service financial services firm with operations in two principal segments of the securities industry, so wealth management and capital markets. So in London, we've got Canaccord Wealth, which is what the internship where you'd be an intern, and then we've also got capital markets, which is actually sit upstairs, but we've also got an office in West London, in the West End, sorry. But yeah, not to be confused that this internship would be with Canaccord Wealth. So since its establishment in 1950, the company has been driven by unwavering commitment to building lasting client relationships We achieve this by generating value for our individual, institutional, and corporate clients through comprehensive investment solutions, brokerage services, advisory, and investment banking services. So Canaccord Wealth has offices located in the UK, Guernsey, Jersey, and the Isle of Man in Australia. And then capital markets, which I touched on before, is an international capital markets division which operates in North America, UK and Europe, Asia and Australia. And then we are headquartered, so our group company, Canaccord Genuity Group, is headquartered in Canada. So sorry, just thought it was important to touch on that. Probably a bit, that's probably my most non or boring side of the whole pack. So our values, so some those values are really important to me. So our company values are what we call the 4 A's. So we've got accountable, aligned, ambitious, and approachable. So we will use these whilst we're interacting with clients and then also on a day-to-day basis with colleagues as well. So the 4 A's enable us to go over and above and beyond. So yeah, those are all of those on there. We have 16 locations across the UK and the Crown dependencies. So what we say is we're small enough to care and big enough to matter. So I actually did this off by heart before looking at the map, just seeing where all the offices were. So our offices are based in Glasgow, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Blackpool, Lancaster, Llandudno, which is in Wales, Worcester, Birmingham, Norwich, Cambridge, London, Guildford, Southampton in the UK, and then our Crown dependencies, so the Isle of Man, Jersey, and Guernsey. So we currently employ 611 employees, but that's in our UK business, and then we have around 250 in the Crown dependencies, so Isle of Man, Jersey, and Guernsey. So what we call Canaccord Wealth International, even though they're in the Crown dependencies, it's not too international. I'm actually from the Isle of Man originally, so although there are palm trees there, it's not very it's not very exotic. Okay, so moving on to our internship program. So we have around 6 interns join us each year. So this year they were based in our Edinburgh, Blackpool, and London office. So we definitely will be hosting in London and Edinburgh the next year. But our third office is to be confirmed. We think it will either be in Worcester or Blackpool again, but we're not sure. And our internship lasts for 6 weeks. Previously, we've supported other initiatives such as 10,000 Black Interns and Upreach, which is an initiative that focuses on social mobility. And this is actually our first year supporting GAIN, and we're really looking forward to it. I have worked with GAIN before in a previous employer. So yeah, we've hired where I used to work, hired people on a permanent basis through GAIN, through the internship program. So yeah, really, really value and really looking forward to partnering with them going forward. So our internship offers meaningful hands-on experience and provides interns with a comprehensive understanding of the wealth management industry. And just for everyone's information as well, we also run an insight program, which is over 2 days online. And you can hear from people throughout the business in the different areas. And this is open to everyone as well. So after this presentation, I would just go follow Canaccord Wealth on socials, and you'll see when it is next year when we post it. This year it was in June. But yeah, as I said, that's open to everyone. Okay. So from day one, our interns contribute to real projects and explore the different areas of wealth management. Um, if each week has a different theme and a focus area, so I'll talk through that in my next slide. So the program consists of interns rotating across portfolio management and wealth planning. So we're more in our front office roles rather than in our support functions. And it gives you a first-hand exposure into the industry. There is time spent with different various office departments, but your main day-to-day roles would be in the wealth planning and wealth management sections of the business. And we want to give everyone be able to look at the different areas of back office so you get that holistic view of the functions in wealth management and an understanding on how each department interacts with the client journey. So that for at Canaccord Wealth, the client journey is the main our main purpose, and our performance is based on that. Over the 6 weeks, the program covers a range of administrative and research tasks, as well as training and conducting many discussions with a range of key stakeholders across the business. And you'll also be asked to create your own investment portfolio, considering every element from risk profiles, asset allocations to equities, and present this portfolio and approach to key stakeholders across the business. So that's the investment management project. And then you'll also have a wealth planning project to complete as well. Interns are assigned a buddy and a manager as well whilst they're here. So normally we have a couple of employees actually who have been successful and had after they're following their internship program became permanent employees. So we try and match our interns with someone who a buddy um, who's been through the internship program as well themselves, and then a manager as well. And then you also have weekly catch-ups with the HR team too. Okay, so this is the structure of the internship program. So we have different themes every week. So on day one, your first day, you're assigned to your manager and your buddies. And then during week one, it will be focused on wealth planning. In week two, that's the investment management week. And then all of our interns, as I said previously, so we had two in Edinburgh and two in Blackpool. They came down to London and there was a social and everyone went to Putt Shack with their buddy and with their manager as well. But they also, that week was focused on investment management. So they got to hear from our head of front office. And they also had a coffee with one of our trainees. So throughout the time, you're hearing from people who have different tenure and different seniority levels within the company. And then week three, so lots of when we tend to interview interns, they always have a focus, I mean, an interest in research, so the analytical side. So that's our Chief Investment Office, otherwise called the CIO team. So they research and investigate different investment opportunities. So the team has different specialisms. So during the week, you'll hear from the different people in the team. So whether that's funds, small cap, ESG, and sustainability. And then as Canaccord as a firm, we have a 9 a.m. call every morning. I personally don't go. I'm a people person. I'm not a financy person. However, that is open to everyone. So you can hear about what's going on in the markets. And all of our interns are invited to that. And then week four, so that's our operations week. So you'll hear from people in our operations business. So operations are the wheels and cogs behind what happens in the business. And week five is support functions. So that's typically so HR, my team, for example, finance, compliance. And then week six, so that's the end of the journey. This is something that I run with the interns with one of my colleagues. And we also get our leadership. So someone who comes in, an external leadership development coach, who comes in and does some skills, some valuable life skills to run so that our interns can take away from them. Even if, sometimes you might do an internship and you think, actually, do you know what, wealth management's not for me. At least you're getting some skills that you can take forward as well. So during those sessions, with me, you'll do CV writing, interview skills, and personal brand. And my colleague, who's our training and competence manager, will go through the different training routes that you could go through. So whether that's mostly focused on wealth planning or wealth management, and the different qualifications that you'd need in order to succeed in those roles. And then, as I touched on, our leadership development coach, so he will go through more about self-awareness and emotional intelligence. And you might have seen this before. I love personality tests. And he'll go through the DISC evaluation with everyone and just really to understand, where people's strengths are naturally. Sorry, I'm talking. I'm almost done. I've got a couple more slides. So feedback from our previous interns. So at the end of our internship, our interns have a feedback session with HR. And what they've said, what they've highlighted this year was our positive culture. They felt supported. They felt that it was really welcoming, and they got to meet a variety of different people across the business. And also, what our interns said for interns going forward and advice they'd give to them would be to be proactive and get involved in as much as they can while they're here. I think I touched on this earlier, but we do have a couple of employees who were interns previously. They're actually through our 10,000 Black interns when they came through there. So, and they're here permanently as permanent employees now. One of them's actually just passed their level 7, so that's great. And so my last slide. So what's the best thing about working at Canaccord? So for me, it's our people. I've got just a selection of photos as well that just show our culture a little bit more. So we've just got, I mean, my favorite one on here is our CEO playing in the weekly golf open that they do in the Worcester office. So that's my favorite on this side. But yeah, so our people, everyone here is super friendly, hardworking, and passionate about the roles. And just to prove that as well, we have been accredited as a great place to work, and we've ranked in some of the best places to work for financial services and insurance, as well as the best workplaces for women, well-being and learning and development. So yeah, that's me. Look forward to hearing some questions at the end.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We're so happy to have Canaccord on the program this year and happy to have you back as well, Katie. Next, we will move to Anne Marie at James Hambro.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm going to try and share my screen. So I'm Anne-Marie Harrington. I am a HR manager here at James Hambro and Partners. I joined the company in January last year, so here about 20 months. Many years experience in asset management, private wealth, um, and and James Hambro is a very nice home for me right now. It's so I'll run right in and give you a little bit of information about us. So, we are a private wealth business primarily. We're focused on wealth management. We have two main legs to our business, the investment side and our financial planning. We're quite a young company. We started in 2010. We were founded by Jamie Hambro, who is our chairman. Jamie is part of the Hambro family, which is very much connected into the financial services world. For the last 200 years, that name has been in the financial services world. Um, we are a privately owned company. We are owned by 23 partners. Um, Most of those work within the business. So we work with the owners of the business, which really does help to drive our culture. Um, we above and beyond for our clients is a real focus for us. Clients are at the center of everything we do. So you will see above and beyond in a lot of um, our literature. That's what we want to achieve. We want to be the best in our class. We want to provide our clients with the best service we can. At the moment, we manage about 7.88 billion. When I joined the company last year, it was 6 billion, so we're growing quite nicely. Our target is to get to 10 billion by April 28. And just some numbers on JH&P. We've got just under 170 employees. One thing that we're quite proud of is that 43% of our talent is female. In an ideal world, we'd like to get to 50%. So partnering with Gain is a real positive step for us. Although we have a lot of experience at JH&P, we have 934 years experience combined, and we're quite traditional in some ways. We've got a very young field company. About 60% of our employees are under 35. And 88% of the business is owned by our employees. So those are our limited liability partners. This is our structure. We've got 4 offices. London is where we will have 2 interns from Gain next year. We're based in Mayfair, just
Or Anne
opposite St.
Marie.
James. So those, I'll just go back. Those are the screens that we've already seen. So organisation and office.
Mhm.
4 offices, London, Edinburgh, Bristol and Leeds. Our 2 intern placements that we're placing this year will be in our London office. We're based in Pall Mall, just opposite St. James's Palace. so nice and central in Mayfair. This is the structure of our business. We've got two main legs, the financial planning and the investment, and then all of the support functions, which you can see there. In the portfolio management side, so we will put one intern in our portfolio management side, investment time side, and then one in our financial planning. Our portfolio management is objectives are to provide security for our clients' assets and help them grow their investments long term. We typically would use stocks, global equities, diversified asset classes, special funds, and then we have a range of structures available to our clients for holding their assets. We have our own funds, the Harrier funds, and then we use ISAs and SIPs, trust structures, and open-ended funds. This is the structure of our team. We've got head of investments, desk heads who are also portfolio managers, assistant PMs, and investment assistants. So one of the interns will sit with the investment assistants. The second intern will be placed in our financial planning. Our financial planners work with our clients to help them meet their short-term needs, but also to balance their long-term ambitions. So we work with them to analyze all of their assets. We work with them to ensure that they've got tax efficiency, cash flow analysis, risk management, and generational wealth. So we look beyond. This is how our team is structured. We've got head of financial planning, desk heads who are also financial planners, additional financial planners, associate financial planners, assistant financial planners, and then we have support, technical and suitability team, which do all of the support. So as individuals go through their career, they start in technical and suitability, and as they complete their exams and professional qualifications, they will go ahead, or they will go through until you become a financial planner. Our approach, we work towards helping clients create and maintain their financial independence and broaden their financial objectives. Most of our clients are high net worth individuals from a variety of backgrounds, whether that be business owners or entrepreneurs or aristocracy, etc. We've got a wide variety of types of clients. So we work very closely with them and their advisors to develop that framework. With our desk heads, it's about building those relationships, and we can do that over many years. Our desk heads will know the families very individually, and they'll know them inside out. And we will build client portfolios based around framework of risk and return portfolios, cautious, balanced, steady growth, and adventurous. So as I mentioned, we are planning to do 2 interns this year. This is our first year using Gain. We do a work experience programs through the year. We've used Black interns in the past, as well as doing insight days with graduate trainees. So we do a variety. So we're quite excited to partnership with Gain for the summer. The placements will be for 8 weeks in July and August. And our target is that you will have an opportunity to gain direct experience in the portfolio management, financial planning, client services, research and project work, and all within working with professional wealth management and advisors. They are very experienced individuals, and you will work with the team. You will also have exposure to other departments. Our plan is to give you a whole view of the life cycle of each department, so you get a good overview of the business. So this is just an overview of the financial planning intern and the investment intern and what you might be expected to do on a day-to-day basis. So you will have work as well as the training will be fitted in around your day-to-day job, but we will give you responsibilities. So you can see on this slide what the financial planning intern will do and what the investment intern will do. You will also have an opportunity to work on a project, shadow other teams, and we will give you training on internal systems, regulations, and anything you need to understand the role. Working at JHMP, we're quite a collaborative rather than a competitive environment. Our CEO thinks that ideas can come from anyone. So to the benefit for everyone, he's got an aversion to bureaucracy, which is really refreshing. Things get done quite quickly. We've a lot of seasoned investment managers who work alongside the financial planning professionals. For us, it's all about client. Above and beyond is what we want to do and what we want to achieve. We care about our clients, and we look for people who are passionate about business and driven to go above and beyond, and who are very client focused. And our culture, these are my words and what my first impression of the culture at JH&P, and actually that hasn't changed in the 20 months I've been here. It's a really friendly and social environment. We've got a very active social committee, one of the most active social committees I've experienced. There's always something going on, whether it's a pizza making class or sports events, a variety of things. It's a very inclusive and collegiate environment, very flat structured feel, open-minded and driven employees. And some of the committees that employees get involved with are corporate social responsibility. We're hoping that you will have an opportunity to volunteer to help out with one of our charities. We give employees 5 volunteering days per year for full-time employees. So the hope is that the intern will have an opportunity to volunteer also. We have a very active social committee, as I mentioned, and a staff engagement forum. And one thing I would recommend is that I look at our website at jameshambro.com and look at our team. That gives you a real flavour of who we are and how our individuals have progressed. We do support young talent. And one of our success stories is Chloe's, who we can see here. Chloe started on our reception a number of years ago, and now she's managing a team of 15 client service managers. But there's a whole host of stories around how we progress people through their professional development. And that is everything from JHMP. We look forward to you joining.
That's wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
apologies for the issue with the
Not at all.
with the sharing.
I'm glad we were able to do it because, as I said, they were very beautiful.
Thank you.
Just a quick reminder, if you do have any questions, please do submit them in the chat and we will get to them at the end of the session. But last but not least, we have Angela from Tanager Wealth Management.
Hello, let me see if I can share my screen. Can everyone see my slides?
Yes.
Right, dare I ask? Yes, good evening. Thank you for inviting us here today. I only found out a couple of hours ago that I was going to talk to you about this. One of my colleagues is much more involved in this program, but it's exciting for me to be able to talk about this today because I'm a chartered financial planner and a fellow of the Personal Finance Society, and I have worked in personal finance for 25 years now, at least, and I love it. I love what I do. I have previously worked on committees helping women and helping young people to see if working in financial planning and investments and the wealth management world is something that they are interested in doing. So I have spoken with people in college and older people as well to find out, is there something that you enjoy as part of the financial planning world and investment world that we can help you with? So we're really pleased to be partnering with Gain. We have other internship programs that we've done in the past, but yes, we are excited about specifically working with Gain. And just a bit about who we are. So we have 3 offices. The opportunity will be in our London office. We also have 2 smaller offices in Philadelphia and Houston, because the work that we do is the majority of households that we look after are UK and US households. So the majority of our clients have a US passport. At least someone in the household has a US passport, and that brings with it a lot of challenges, but a lot of interest, because it means that the way that we work with clients, we aren't just working with the UK instruments and UK pensions, ISAs and UK investment accounts. We are also working with American accounts and 401ks and IRAs, and it allows us to do different things for clients. It also means that we have to work very closely with different US and UK accountants and US and UK lawyers to make sure that we are doing the right thing because of the challenges that come with that British and American household and the tax consequences. So we are licensed and regulated in the UK and the US, which again, it just makes it a bit more interesting and exciting for us. So our location, yes, this view, this is a photo taken from our kitchen window. So we get to see St Paul's. We also get to see the scaffolding there at the bottom, which sometimes gets in the way. But we have, yes, we're on the river near Cannon Street in Mansion House, yeah, it's a lovely place to work. We have about 700 households, and those households could be one individual or they could be multi-generational. We also look after money for trusts. So whether that's a trust that's paying money out, or whether we have clients who are building wealth within a trust, we also do that. And we are, from the American point of view, we are fiduciaries for our clients. That's an American term. Essentially, it means that, you know, the UK sort of version of that is we work in the best interests of the client. So when quite some time ago I got my qualifications, I got a little bit of cardboard that I had to sign and say, yes, I will work in the best interests of my client. And that's the aim of what we do. We also have the ability, through the way that we invest, to look at ESG, environment, social governance. Do clients have a particular interest in how they invest? Some clients don't. They just, you know, want to make money, they want to grow their money, but other clients can be quite passionate about, they want to work towards, can they invest in companies that help with water in countries that don't have as good water situation? Do they want to work for companies that promote, you know, women, more focus on that than not? So we have the ability to, you know, tailor our clients' investments in that particular way if that's something that they're interested in. So our internship position in our London office, it's for 8 weeks, and you will be based in the investment team, but you know, we all work together. We are a firm, we've been going now for 13 years, about 44 staff in our London office. And because of the size that we are, you will be working next to the CIO, you will be working next to the founders, you will be speaking to everyone at every level, and we welcome questions. You know, people who are enthusiastic and love what they're doing, because we love what we're doing. So it's great when people are like, oh, what about this? What about that? I obviously, working in the financial planning department, even though you'll be in the investment department, I'll be trying to sneak you over and say, no, don't work in investments. Financial planning is much better. But yes, that's where the bulk of your time will be spent, with the investment team. And you will be given, you know, proper work to get stuck into, projects with some deliverable targets, and the investment team will then rely on the work that you do for you choosing future client portfolios. You will also, and I have been told, I must say this, you will be using FactSet, which apparently the investment geeks tell me is really exciting software to work with. So I know I get shown little charts and all sorts, but they say it's great. So you will get the chance to use that, and you will explore the dual taxation issues that we have, which, I know it's talking about tax, it's more interesting than it sounds, promise. There's also the currency exposure. So we work with dollars, sterling and euros is mainly where we work. Retirement plans, looking at those differences for UK and US. And then the investment restrictions, because we do have clients that come to us, or new prospects that come to us and say, oh, I've got all these investments, these are okay, aren't they? And then we kind of go, oh no, because it's very easy for people who have that US side to invest in a way that wasn't, you know, they shouldn't have gone down that route, but they just didn't know. So if you come and if you successfully come and do your internship with us, you will learn technical skills. You will be asked to analyze information. You'll be helped, obviously, with all of this. Professional skills, teamwork, communication, attention to detail is so important. And also, if you're with us at the right time, you will no doubt come to the summer party, which can possibly sway you with that. But we are a social bunch, so we will do that. We also have good links with a soup kitchen where we volunteer at every month. And if you're able to come to that, that would be lovely. It's something that we all find really worthwhile, and a really nice part of the time that we spend with each other. Let me now, this will be the thing. Can I get out of sharing? This will be, yes, right. You can tell I'm not in IT. But yeah, it's an opportunity. I think that if you can come and work with us, it will be really exciting, really interesting, and we'll certainly enjoy having you with us and wanting to try and help you as much as we can. And if at the end you go, do you know what? Wealth planning maybe isn't what we thought it would be, then hopefully you'll have also got some other skills that you can apply to something else. But I joined finance because I thought it was all about maths and love maths, and then realised no, it's all about people and I love people. So there's all sorts of different parts of it. But yes, so thank you for your time today.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, it's very obvious that you all are offering some incredible internships next summer, and thank you for sharing a little bit about them today. We will jump into the Q&A now. So just again, this is our final Meet the Firm event series. So this is your last chance to ask our firms questions. So please do send some in. But I have a few that I would like to go over. Angela, you were talking a little bit about your motivations, just briefly there. I would love to hear, Anne-Marie, some of yours, and Katie as well, if you're comfortable sharing. What were some of your personal motivations for joining the industry?
Do you want to start,
Anne-Marie, you can
Katie?
start.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
great.
mind.
I actually
Um,
fell into the industry. So it wasn't a conscious decision. I started my HR life in the airline industry, and then joined a hedge fund, and fell in love with the industry. Really driven people. No one day is the same. Um, it's hardworking. It's exciting, and yeah, I'm 20 years later. I'm still enjoying financial services.
Love it. Thank you so much. Katie, did you want to share as
yeah, really similar. And I did a HR degree. I always knew I wanted to do HR. I actually worked in London City Airport as well, Anne-Marie. So it's how strange. So that was one of my first roles. So I did a couple of fixed term contracts. And then I went to an interdealer broker. That was my first financial services firm. And then I was in a different wealth manager for 7 years. And now I'm here. But I think, I really like financial services in general. I think I would never leave the industry, but I did a brief stint somewhere else. And now I'm like, I'm never going to leave wealth management again.
well?
Um, so for me, I think the difference is with the two other roles that I had were on the buy side, but I think on the sell side, but as we're around the people who are private client focused, they're generally sometimes financial services has a bad rep, but definitely not in wealth management. I think, from hearing from other people who work in wealth managers as well, everyone has um, a similar experience, and people are generally really friendly, really open. So yeah, absolutely love working in wealth management. People just tend to stay here a long time. We've got people who have been with the firm for 30 years, and that's really seeing people grow from being trainees to becoming fully fledged wealth planners, wealth managers is something that I really like. So yeah, sorry, I go off on tangents. So just excuse me. I'm just passionate.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Angela, did you want to share a little bit more or?
Yeah, well, I just think that it's, having seen, because I started in working in the administration side, and then I decided, when the opportunity was there to start doing the exams, I thought, right, okay, what's the level of qualification I can get? Where can we go? I want to do well in this. And I think it is certainly an industry that if you put the effort in, then you will reap the rewards, not just monetarily, but just enjoying your job so much, because we get the opportunity to really help people. Because yeah, I get involved with people who may have come into money and it's kind of, it's a shock. They don't know what to do with it. Or sometimes you've got people who really rely on those funds for something that's a life change, and to have someone who can help them, guide them through that. I think it's something that I really enjoy doing.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. One question that we get asked a lot from students is what the assessment process is like. So if you would like, could you please share a little bit on your assessment process and what that would look like for the students who, if successful, would do?
Oh, do you want me? I'll go.
Yeah,
So
please.
we we currently only have interns through the initiatives that we support. So last year was 10,000 Black interns and Upreach. So we sent CVs from the initiatives, and we try and interview every application that we get through there, depending on how many. Don't want to give any promises, but I think it's really valuable. Say if we have 10 candidates, especially for first stage, for them to get those interview skills and have a real interview that they might not have had otherwise. So that's we do one interview and then we have a second stage interview. So the first stage interview is actually with my colleague Kate, who's another HR business partner, but she focuses on learning and development. And then the second stage would be with myself, and one of the investment managers or wealth planners. So yeah, so that's the assessment for us, is basically CV focus and interviews. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Anne Marie?
It's very similar for us. So we do assess the CVs. It's two-stage interview, one with HR, and then the second shortlisted candidates will be with the hiring manager, the managers that you'll report to. And so a very simple process. And no, we don't do tests or anything like that. We're looking for people that we can grow and mold. So yeah, and hopefully they're with personality. So if the personality comes through in the interview process and their drive.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
And again, it's, yes, because we don't just take, again, this, we're looking for CVs that are coming through internship. Our interns come through programs. So it's just, it's looking at the CVs that are presented to us, and then it's usually a couple of stages of interview with the people that you'll be actually sort of working with. And it's about changing from, we see something on paper and we see that paper version of you, and then it's how do you present in front of us, and just, it's much more exciting to have someone who is enthusiastic rather than someone who isn't but has qualifications coming out of their ears. Yes, obviously qualifications can tell us so much, but really we want people who are excited to be here.
Thank you so much. We do have a few questions in the chat, so I'll start with Chloe's question first. What type of experience is most valued when applying to wealth management roles, and what were the most valuable skills interns brought to your teams? If maybe we can start with Anne Marie.
What types of experience most valuable? At graduate level, we look for somebody who's got a work ethic. It doesn't really matter what those roles are. We look for people who have maybe an interest in financial services. It's not always about the degree that you've done, because we recognize that people are at the start of their career, it changes. We look for people who've got an interest, and whether they've got that client ability to be able to go above and beyond in whatever they do. So if you work in a supermarket, or as say in a bar, we will talk to you about that experience and what your client building relationships are like. So it's all valuable work experience. Sometimes some roles, the degree can help. So if it's economics, for example, but if you go through our business, and talk to a lot of our financial planners or our investment managers, they might have started their career out and wanted to be a vet, and have changed direction, and sometimes just life happens. But for us, the most valuable skills are just the passion for learning and growth. It's a continual learning opportunity. You don't stop learning in financial services. The regulations change. It's fast moving in terms of you're never fully trained. You're always developing. So the want and need to be able to develop yourself and whatever skills you have is important for us.
Thank you so much. That's something I've noticed working for Gain is that a lot of our firm contacts, they didn't start out with an economics degree or a finance degree. Some study languages and art, which I think is really amazing. So thank you for sharing that. Katie, did you maybe want to provide some input on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think I echo completely what Anne-Marie said. I had an interview today with a team assistant for a team assistant role, and she was comparing, she works in a fine dining restaurant, and comparing that to assisting the investment managers with ultra high net worth clients. So everything is transferable. Especially I wouldn't expect to see I think if for a graduate I would say, and any family members that I have that are younger, I might try and get internships, because it just shows they're so competitive as well. And I think everyone here is obviously doing the right thing. You're coming to Gain and you're, learning about internship programs, and going to insight days and stuff. So I like seeing that on CVs, because it just shows that people have an interest in the industry, and they're always everywhere. Um, but I think the most valuable skills is like active listening and not being afraid to ask questions. And it is hard to show that in an interview sometimes, but yeah, I think it's when you first join as well, those are the people who succeed, the ones who are really keen and yeah, happy to get involved in everything.
A lot of people underestimate soft skills, but they are so, so important, especially in investment management.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can teach people about investments, but if you lack those soft skills, then you aren't. Yeah, so definitely try and evolve those while you can.
Thank you so much. Angela, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I think it's just people generally having sort of a bit of a zest for life, really. Because yes, I am at the ripe old age of 46, about to sit another exam. So yeah, it doesn't stop. You are, as Anne-Marie said, the regulations change, rules change. There's always a need to learn. And when it comes to what you've learned in the past, it's have you done learning that shows you've required analytical skills? That's it. It doesn't necessarily matter what the exact subject is, but have you been able to show that you can research, apply, analyze? It's doing those sorts of things. And also, we have the senior investment people in our firm. They often come into client meetings, so they have to be able to say, yeah, it's all, they know all the technical information, but then it's translating that into a way that a client who may not be able to talk at that technical level, getting them to understand it, and also so that they don't feel silly asking questions. Because I think one of the most important things is putting your client in a comfortable position so they can ask questions. So those soft skills are just really important.
Thank you so much. We have one more question in the chat from Natisha. Hello, thank you all for sharing such fantastic opportunities. I was hoping you can share a little bit about what qualities in interns stand out, make them successful during the application process. I mean, we touched on that a little bit. Just those soft skills really is not more important, but definitely a significant part of the application process. But is there anything else you wanted to add?
I think it's a little bit about what we've all said. It's
Yeah.
the soft and it's the technical, but it's the work ethic, it's the zest for life. It's also interesting because we're a people business. We want to see what that personality is like. So,
Mm.
Yeah.
if you do volunteering, if you're a skydiver, we're interested in that. Maybe not for insurance purposes, but um, but we want to see who you are as a person, as an individual.
Yeah.
So what makes, if you've got something unique that makes you stand out, share it. So,
Yeah.
and
Thank you
that
so much.
will, oh, and also a well-written CV. Um,
Mm,
check details, make sure that, the basics are right.
Mm. Absolutely. Submit one that you're proud of. That's
mhm.
what we always say. We have a few more minutes. I do have one more question I would love to ask. Our students are applying to the internship program now, so if you could give them any advice as they're preparing their applications, what advice would you give them?
Such a good
So,
question.
oh, no,
You go first,
I was
Angela,
going to
because I don't
say,
know anything.
think about if, but we're going to get a lot of CVs to look at, hopefully. So what is it that's going to make us think, oh, I would like to speak to them? So yeah, it is, I mean, whether it's skydiving, as Anne-Marie said, but put on those things and think about what are the things that you've done. It could be that you didn't do volunteering, but it's something that you do within your family or community that helps. Like that's all stuff that is really interesting and important.
I would also maybe add, don't overuse things like ChatGPT or
Mm,
so
Oh,
you have you have to use, so we want to see who you are, not who an AI. And you can also tell if something is too engineered.
mhm.
So
you
that's
can
for me
absolutely
personally. I don't know
tell.
if you both agree.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Yes. Yes, you can always tell if it happened. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I think
Lisa.
one of the sessions, if you were someone was to get an internship with us at Canaccord, one of the sessions that you do with me is about personal brand. But I think that's, what do you want people to know when they walk away? Like, what are they saying about you when you're not in the room? What are we saying about your CV? And how can you stand out? And again, it's what Anne-Marie said. So I always ask people, I'm giving stuff away now. So if you do get an interview with us, but I always ask people, what are you passionate about? Like that, then, that's more than just a hobby. Like, what's your passions? And I love seeing if people have put on their CVs, or I like cooking, and then that's something that you can ask them and stuff. So that would be like my last kind of takeaway. Like, yeah, what would you want us to what the highlights in your CV that you want us to see?
That's all
But
great.
if you do like, don't put you like cooking if you don't like
Yeah,
cooking.
true.
We
Yeah,
will
never
ask.
lie.
No, that's the other thing,
Yeah.
we will ask if you put it on.
Make sure you're able to back up what you say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And don't exaggerate. Make sure that the dates are correct because this is a financial services regulated. We have to do background screening.
Hmm.
It's all about integrity and honesty and doing the right thing. So make sure that your CV is
Mm.
correct and not exaggerated.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If that's the last question, then we'll wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and for those who have joined our last three sessions as well. Thank you so much. And a big, big thank you to Katie, Anne Marie, and Angela for speaking today. We're really looking forward to reading your applications. As a reminder, applications close on the 26th of October, so please do get those in before then. And with that, yeah, I hope you all have a great evening and thank you so much for coming.